Hi, my name is Maureen Danielo, and I'm a Toro College student, and this is my lesson plan presentation. The lesson title is Triangle Inequality Theorem, and it is for a high school geometry class. So starting off with the objectives for the lesson, the students will be able to discover the triangle inequality theorem, determine if a triangle can be formed given the length of 3 line segments by using the triangle inequality theorem, find a possible length of the third side of a triangle when given 2 side lengths by using the triangle inequality theorem. The materials for the lesson are a worksheet based on the triangle inequality theorem, a smart notebook file, which I don't have on my computers at home, those would be at my school, which is filled with slides and practice problems based on the triangle inequality theorem, sandwich bags, pre-cut colored straws, and the Geometer Sketchpad Triangle Inequality Theorem file. So the motivation that would be on the board when the students walk in is, can you create a triangle using the 3 colored straws you were given? The students will be given sandwich bags filled with 3 different size colored straws when they walk in the room. Now the summary of the lesson is starting with an introduction. How do we create triangles? How can we draw them? And we would have the students work with their straws to try and create different triangles and then discuss it as a class. Then the teacher will model by filling in the chart, which is on the worksheet, with the lengths of the straws, connecting the endpoints, and determining whether or not you can create a triangle with the different size straws that you have. The students then will fill in their portion based on the 3 straws that they had, and then the class will work together with the teacher to fill in the entire rest of their chart, using different straws and determining whether or not you can create a triangle with different size straws. Then we'll discuss the relationship between the sum of 2 sides compared to the third, and whether or not you'd be able to make a triangle. Next, we're going to try to create a rule to explain that relationship. So the students have an actual portion on their worksheet where they would be able to come up with a rule. Then we'll talk about what the triangle inequality theorem actually is, and the students can copy that into their notebooks. Then we'll have a class discussion and start testing if the lengths of certain things can be the sides of a triangle. So we'll go over different examples. And then after that, we're going to try and figure out as a class if there's a more efficient way than testing all 3 pairs of sides. So we'll discuss that, and then if needed, the teacher can prompt and show the easier, more efficient side. Students then will continue for the rest of the lesson to independently complete problems as the teacher circulates around, provides support and help as needed, and stop every problem to review and check for understanding. So the pivotal questions for the lesson are, how can we determine if 3 line segments create a triangle? Can you create a triangle using the 3 colored straws you were given? Is the sum of the 2 smaller sides greater than the third? What relationship do you see in the sum of any 2 sides compared to the third? Can you come up with a rule to explain this relationship? So those were the pivotal questions that the teacher will discuss with the students during the lesson. As closure and a summary, they're going to discuss the motivation. So how can I determine if the line segments will form a triangle? And just an overall, what did we learn in this lesson today, and have the students generate that information. Assessment is informal, and the questions asked during the activity, notes, practice problems, and closure will help in assessing student understanding of the topic. The standards addressed include New York State and Common Core standards. So the New York State standards are observe and explain patterns to formulate generalizations and conjectures, explain the relationship among different representations, use physical objects, diagrams, charts, tables, graphs, symbols, equations, or objects created using technology as representations of mathematical concepts, use mathematics to show and understand mathematical phenomena, and investigate, justify, and apply the triangle inequality theorem. Common Core standards are all underneath the umbrella of modeling with geometry, which is applying geometric concepts in modeling situations. So the students will be able to reason abstractly and quantitatively, construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others, and model with mathematics. Now, accommodations and differentiation in the lesson, and especially for students with disabilities. There's a clear organized chart, which is a nice graphic organizer to help students learn the information and organize it a little bit better. Then their notes are presented in both audio through the teacher speaking and visual, as they'll be on the smartboard with the Smart Notebook file and also in front of them on their worksheet. A copy of class notes for any students with an IEP, with that on their IEP, will be handed out at the end of the lesson. The teacher will circulate the room to redirect and refocus any students with that listed on their IEP, and also just to provide support as needed for students. The straw activity is color-coded, so that is both visual learners and kinesthetic learners will do well with that. The teacher models for the students, as well as directions will be read and explained prior to the activity, and preferential seating is taken into consideration. So this is the brief synopsis of the geometry lesson for the triangle inequality theorem. Thank you very much.